All right, folks. I don't know how many of you actually know what fracking is. I think a lot more of you now know than that used to know because it's out there, it's functional, and it's productive. And a lot of people got very, very rich on it. And the man who has written the book on all that, award-winning writer for the Wall Street Journal, Gregory Zuckerman, is here. His new book, The Frackers, the outrageous inside story of the new billionaire wildcatters. Great to see you.
Great to be here.
All right, so just tell people, what fracking is exactly and what the controversy has been from the get-go.
Sure. Fracking is just short for hydraulic fracturing, which just basically means pummeling rock with a combination of liquids, usually water with some sand and some chemicals. And the whole idea is to create little fractures, little fissures in the rock so that oil and gas can come out. And we've been doing this since the 50s, so it's not new. The controversy is new now because only since around the late 90s, which I write about in my book, did we Americans, innovative entrepreneur wildcatters, figure out how to get lots of oil and gas from shale. And shale is rock, really tough down below, and you need to frack it. So people are a little bit nervous because we use these chemicals and they're worried about getting into the water, among other concerns.
Yeah. All right. But this has gone ahead. And it has made a lot of people, the wildcatters, as you call them, very, very rich. A lot of people made a lot of money, then lost a lot of money, but it was very, very lucrative.
Yeah, well, it's lucrative for the people that have discovered all this oil and gas, and quite frankly, it's helpful for all of us because we pay natural gas prices that are about a third to a half what they do in Asia and in Europe. And I believe that this era of American production, a boom, is going to lead to American economic dominance for years to come because we pay so much lower energy costs. And as a result, you're getting companies moving back to America, reshoring, chemical companies, tire companies, cement, and it's going to help them for years, and it's causing jobs. So yeah, the billionaires that I write about, they've made billions. Some have lost billions too. But you're also getting the average person who's been helped as well, and now the price of the pump's even going down.
Well, yeah. Now, so do you attribute? You say the price of the pumps, and I naturally assume as a novice in this area and all areas that's related to the price of gas per barrel, and that's the Middle East and OPEC and all that. But you're bringing it closer to home.
There are two real big reasons why we're all paying under $3 a gallon.
$2.69 in my pump in Jersey.
Jersey, in Jersey it's real cheap. Partly it's because the Saudis are decided to keep pumping because they've got issues with Iran, with Russia maybe, and quite frankly with the American wildcatters. They're not so thrilled that American entrepreneurs are grabbing market share, global market share, so they're pushing prices down. But it's also the case that we're producing so much more oil that it's adding to supplies, global supplies. So just a few years ago, 2008 or so, we were producing 5 million barrels a day. Now it's up to close to 9 million barrels a day. And we haven't produced this much in 28 years. So it's a whole resurgence. There's a complete revolution going on. So we're partly responsible for lowering energy prices.
All right, now that's good. And whenever anything is good, and this administration is involved, they get nervous. The EPA, they mandate this, they mandate that. What are the limitations still placed on fracking around the country? Is it lessened to a great extent? Is it now commonplace, or are there still prohibitions? And what's the danger that one day Obama or the EPA will say, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that. Take us to the Supreme Court if you want.
Well, quite honestly, the energy industry has been nervous for years, ever since President Obama came into office, and yet the resurgence has gone forward and is booming even more so. So I'm not that concerned. Oil and gas generally is regulated on a state level, and the states usually have been pretty friendly. There have been some states that have cracked down on some things they should be cracking down on. There are some renegades or people that don't do it properly. Fracking can be done safely. That's where people on the left really get it wrong. But people on the right kind of say, well, drill, baby, drill. You can't just go crazy with it. You've got to have some regulation. And I think, despite all the headlines and the fractivists, we're forging a nice little compromise in this country and pushing ahead.
And you tell such great stories. And you talk about one guy has a portfolio built up that got built up bigger than Steve Jobs through this. But talk about somebody who lost a lot of money. How'd that happen?
Well, there was a guy named Aubrey McClendon who believed before most others that we had a lot of natural gas in this country, and his company Chesapeake Energy, and they went everywhere, leasing up acreage. At one point, they had so much acreage, Chesapeake, that it was larger than the size of New Jersey, all over the country. And they were right, and yet they were wrong. So they were right in that they were right that there was a lot of natural gas that could come out of shale from fracking, and they produced so much of it, though, that it cratered natural gas prices. So I write this kind of dramatic scene wherein in a matter of just a few months, he was went from $3 billion worth to about nothing.
Wow.
Because natural gas prices collapsed. So in some ways, we all benefit because natural gas prices come down, but some of these guys made billions and some of them lost as well.
This book is full of that kind of story, and it's educational. It's a great read, and a lot of anecdotes as we've alluded to. The Frackers, the outrageous inside story of the new Billionaire Wildcatters. There it is on the screen. Pick it up, folks. And there's a lot to learn, and I hope you're absolutely correct about the future going forward. I love a positive outlook.
I am positive. I've been reassured from doing this project.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Gregory Zuckerman. Read him in the Wall Street Journal. We'll be back with more right after the break.